Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke on the offensive yesterday, saying he is ready to take action to help the struggling economy. To break down the speech and look ahead at what it all means for Wall Street and Main Street are Stephen Gallagher, the chief U.S. economist for Societe Generale, Charles Payne, founder of WStreet.com, and independent trader Eric Bolling is in the house. Once again, good to see you guys. All right, let's start with grades. You guys have all given us grades for how Bernanke did. Why don't we start with you, Eric?
I think he was fantastic. I gave an A+ for one reason. He was very transparent. You know, if you remember, Greenspan used to sit there and listen to him, had no idea what he was telling you. I mean, he was notorious for Greenspan speak. Bernanke came out yesterday, explained the problem in terms that we all understand, and then came and said, this is what we're going to do about it. We're going to do substantive action, which means not a quarter point, that means a half point and probably a full point over the next few meetings, if not before. I tend to agree that we may see a quarter point before that meeting.
Steve, what grade did you give Bernanke?
Well, I gave him an A. I probably just fell short of that A+, but I think it was a great job. It was a clear, transparent speech based on what we've seen before. I think also what I thought was very encouraging, he didn't try to explain his communication style and all his communication efforts. I mean, let's get rid of that nonsense. Let's just communicate in a clear fashion, tell us what the risks are, tell us what the policy intentions are, and that's what he did.
Professor Charles Payne.
Well, you know, I give him an A for speaking clearly, and I give him an A for levity. That was fantastic. I love the fact that he was easygoing, but I give him an F because he took no action. You know, this is like the speech we heard earlier in the week from President Bush. These guys keep telling us what we already know. Today, a report came out, consumer confidence is at a record low. And you know what? Stop telling us that things are bad. We know that. Throw the lifeline already. So, net, I would say CD.
All right, so let's look at, we have Eric at an A+. We have Steve at an A, and then Charles, you gave him overall
CD, you know, but I give him.
I thought overall you gave him a B+.
Well, B, but you know what? Overnight I slept on it. It went down.
Wait a minute, you can't take the grade back. All right. Now, yesterday a reporter asked Bernanke after the speech why he had not mentioned the R word, whether he was worried about a recession. Here's what he said.
The Federal Reserve is not currently forecasting a recession. We are forecasting slow growth. But as I mentioned today, there are downside risks, and therefore it's very important for us to stand ready, as I mentioned, to take substantive action to address those risks and provide some insurance against those negative outcomes.
All right. The two key words here. The word currently doesn't forecast a recession, and the word insurance. Eric, what do you make of it? Do you buy it?
Yeah, I buy it. I think he clearly said they're going to be vigilant. They're going to increase the money supply.
Do you buy that he doesn't think that there's a recession, that they're not forecasting a recession? They're looking at 2.5%, which is kind of on the high end of estimates for 2008.
He could not come out and say, yeah, we're looking at a recession. The market would have tanked. I mean, that's not what they do. But, by the way, recession is a backward-looking word, okay? So they're not there yet. We don't have negative growth yet. We won't have negative growth 2 quarters in a row for another 6 months minimum. So he can't say recession. He shouldn't say recession. He did everything he's supposed to do. He said, we will do what it takes to make sure we don't go into recession. I think he did a fantastic job with that as well.
All right, Steve, you're our resident economist. We want to get to what this all may mean for people on Main Street. We know it's, cut lower interest rates are good for the markets and reassures investors, but what can the average people at home, homeowners, small investors, be looking for now?
Well, I'm afraid in the short term, it's still slow growth. I mean, what we've seen is a Wall Street problem that is still spreading out to Main Street. And we're only seeing the first signs that it's hitting Main Street with the higher unemployment rates and suddenly rising delinquencies on credit cards. So that's bad news, and it's going to affect the shops on Main Street now. And that's going to happen for the first half. So it's really the relief from cutting interest rate cuts isn't going to happen immediately. I think what we're going to see in the springtime is with these rate cuts, we'll see any adjustable rate interest loans that the consumers had, they'll start coming down. They'll start feeling the benefits, and that sets us up for a much better second half of the year.
And lower credit card rate charges as well. Charles, once you finish up here, the market had a weird reaction yesterday. Bernanke gave his speech. There was a bounce. Then it pulled back, and then it wasn't until the countrywide story came out that the market